So we talked about Key Vault, we've got one set up, now let's look at ways we can leverage it. So while having your secrets stored in Key Vault is great, it doesn't really do us much good if we're only storing our secrets in there. So if we take a step back, really the whole point of a Key Vault is to remove our secrets from being stored in plain text. This can be something as simple as a connection string in a web app, code within an application or a function, or it can be part of a code such as infrastructure as code for virtual machines, SQL servers, or disk encryption. All these ways that we can interact with Azure, or that resources within Azure can interact with one another, we can leverage Key Vault to help make sure that any sort of authentication that's happening is being handled in a secure manner. So I know that was a really quick slide, but let's go into the portal and let's see how we can leverage Azure Key Vault to set up a connection string between a web application and a SQL database. So here we are, we've got our nJAPA1 app service open, which is basically a web app that's running a simple to-do list. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we validated that it works. We can see we've got a few examples here. We have the ability to go in and edit. Say we want to call this example 4 now. So we'll go ahead and save, and we can see it's updated here. We have the ability to create new if we wanted to do that. So again, pretty simple to-do list. Now if we take a look at a little bit at the architecture, we've got our web app up front, which we're looking at now, and then we've got a SQL database backend where it's storing our data. So in order for the two to talk, we're using a connection string. To view that connection string, if we go down to settings and then configuration, and then scroll down, we can see we've got our connection string. If we go to the right a little bit, we can edit it, and you can see we've got a pretty long value here. So this is kind of hard to read here, so let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go down to Visual Studio Code, and then let's paste it in here. You can see here we've got our SQL Server defined, as well as the database that we're using. More importantly though, or more concerning I should say, is we've got the user ID and the password defined here as well. So anyone who has access to this web app can go in here and view the credentials to also access SQL. And obviously that's not a good thing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this connection string, and then we're going to create a secret in a Key Vault and have that secret be the connection string. Then we're going to reference that secret within the connection string settings of the web app. So what this does is this basically hides the contents of the connection string, and all we can see is the reference. So unless you have access to that Key Vault, you're not going to be able to see what the connection string is, more importantly, the credentials within that connection string. So to do that, let's go ahead, and we've already got this in our clipboard. Let's go back to Azure. We are going to open the Skylines Key Vault that we recently created. We're going to go down to Secrets, and then we're going to create a secret. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste the value, which is that connection string that we just copied, and then we need to give it a name. So in order to do that, I'm going to select this, I'm going to copy it, and then we're going to go ahead and go down here and paste it. So if we hit create, it's going to create that secret. And if we look here, we've got a version to the secret. So let's go ahead and open that up. And then now we've also got a secret identifier. So let's copy this real quick. Let's go back to Visual Studio Code and let's paste that in here. So if we take a look at this URL, which is essentially what it is, you can see we've got a few different parts to pay attention to. The first part is in front of vault.azure.net, we're defining the Key Vault name. So in this case, Skylines Key Vault. So that first part defines what Key Vault we're looking at. Then you can see we're looking at a secret. And then the secret is called nJAPA1 connection string. And then finally, we got a bunch of numbers after that. And those numbers are the identifier. So if we go back to Key Vault here, you can see those numbers that we just looked at match a secret version. So if we went in and say, for example, updated the password or updated some part of that secret value or that connection string, we would then get a new secret version. So that secret version would then change that URL or that secret reference. So now that we've got our secret created, we've got the identifier for it, what we're going to do then is we're going to go over to this next tab, and I'm going to paste that into here. So this first part, this at Microsoft.KeyVault, what that essentially is doing is that is telling whenever Azure sees that, it knows, okay, I'm going to be referencing a Key Vault. And then from there, we give it a secret URI, so we're basically defining what specific secret am I going to be looking at. So if we take this whole string here and paste it into the connection string within the web app, Azure is going to see that and recognize because of the at Microsoft.KeyVault saying, hey, I know this isn't a literal value. I need to be referencing a Key Vault. And then from there, with the secret URI, we are specifying what individual secret or what specific secret and version we're going to be referencing. So let's go ahead and take this. We're going to copy it. And if we go back to Azure now, when we go back to NJAP 01, we're going to go ahead and clear this out, and then we're going to paste in that value. So again, it starts with @Microsoft.KeyVault so that Microsoft knows we're referencing something and don't take this as a literal value. We'll go ahead and hit OK here, and then we're going to save it, and just telling basically when we save it, we're going to be restarting our application. So we'll let this run for a second here. Looks like it's updated, so I'm going to close this out. We'll go back to Overview, and let's go ahead and open up our website. And if we look here, it's basically saying, hey, this isn't supported. Something's not working right. All right, well, let's take a step back. What have we learned using Manage Identities last time? We set up a Manage Identity on NJAP 01 previously, so let's go take a look at that. Yep, this confirms we've got our system identity, so we've basically created our identity here. But did we set that up when we created our new key vault? Let's take a look. So we're going to go back to our key vault. We're going to go look at our access policies. And if we look here, we don't have it defined. We set that up with another key vault, but we didn't do it after we created a new Skylines key vault. So let's go ahead and access policy. We're working with secrets, so we're going to give it the get and list permission. And then for service principal, we're going to go ahead and select the NJAP. We'll select that. We'll go ahead and add it. Save. And then now we can see again that the NJAP 01 showed up as an application and not a user, which makes sense considering it is a service principal essentially in the back end. Let's go back to our app service here. We're going to go ahead and restart it just to make sure it gets those refresh settings. And now it's restarted. Let's go ahead and now it's working. In summary, we took the connection string which had credentials in it to the database. We created a secret from that connection string. We then went to the connection string settings of the web app and then we updated it so that it's basically using a key vault reference now. And once we completed that, we had some issues because it still wasn't able to basically view that secret because the web app didn't have permissions. So then we went back to the key vault, we updated the access policies so that the system identity of the web app did have access to view the secrets. Once we did that, we went back over to the web app, we restarted it to get the updated settings, and then from there we were able to view everything, or there we were able to access the web application.